Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Context channel. Stop what you are doing right now, because we also stopped when we learned of this stunning new development. You won't believe the geopolitical chess game that just played out this weekend. We are talking about a move so audacious, so brilliant, that it has left the Washington and Moscow power brokers absolutely stunned. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy just delivered a perfect strategic surgical checkmate against the Trump regime's alleged attempts to force Ukraine into surrender. I'm Emily, and if you're here, you know we follow the money, the power, and the betrayal in global politics. I need you to hit that like button and subscribe right now, because the story I'm about to tell you is the moment Ukraine took back control of its own narrative and exposed the America First betrayal for the whole world to see. This isn't theory, this is documented action. After Ukraine and its European allies exposed a secretive 28-point Russian surrender plan, a plan allegedly laundered by key Trump proxies, Ukraine said, "Absolutely not. You will respect our sovereignty. We reject this Russian BS." And then Zelenskyy made his brilliant move. He said,
Oh, you want to meet with Russian proxies in Miami to sell us out? Fine, we're sending our delegation to Miami. We'll meet on your turf. Man up and look us in the eye.
"This is more than diplomacy, it is a moral confrontation. Let's break down the scene, the humiliation, and the stunning implications." The backstory, confirmed by multiple reports and the Wall Street Journal, is simple but damning. Key Trump envoy Witoff, alongside Jared Kushner and Senator Marco Rubio, were allegedly negotiating a surrender plan behind Ukraine's back. Point: a plan that offered peace in exchange for Ukraine giving up territory, essentially selling out NATO, all while Moscow was dangling multi-billion-dollar rare earth and energy deals, a massive bribe to make Donald and his family even richer. As the Wall Street Journal report summarized, the Kremlin's strategy was to bypass the traditional U.S. national security apparatus and convince the administration to view Russia not as a military threat, but as a land of bountiful opportunity. It was make money, not war, at Ukraine's expense. So when Zelensky's delegation landed in Miami, it wasn't a friendly visit. It was an interrogation. It was a confrontation. And I want you to look closely at the photos from that meeting. The visual is everything. You see the Ukrainian delegation, strong, powerful, supremely confident, radiating moral authority. And sitting across from them, Trump's stooges, sheepish, weak, and exposed. Here's a small snip from the meeting.
You can sit, right? Sit. Well, first of all, Rustam, to all of you that are here, it's great to be back with you again. I think we continue this very important work, building off what's been achieved, not just in Geneva, the progress we made there, but the progress throughout the week as we've been communicating. The end goal is obviously not just the end of the war. Obviously, that's essential and fundamental. We want to see the end of the killing and the death and the suffering, and I'm sure the Ukrainian side, I know they do as well. They want peace, but it's also about securing an end to the war that leaves Ukraine sovereign and independent and with an opportunity at real prosperity. So this is not just about ending a war. This is about ending a war in a way that creates a mechanism and a way forward that will allow them to be independent and sovereign, never have another war again, and create tremendous prosperity for its people. Not just rebuild the country, but to enter an era of extraordinary economic progress. It's a country, Ukraine has tremendous economic potential. Ukraine has tremendous opportunity for true prosperity. Obviously, you can't do that in the middle of a war like this, but ending the war alone won't achieve that. So this is not just about peace deals, it's about creating a pathway forward that leaves Ukraine sovereign, independent, and prosperous. And so we expect to make even more progress today, and we're grateful that you would travel all the way here to Florida. We apologize for the rain. It's not supposed to be raining, but there's only certain things we can control. So thank you and welcome to you.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to start with a gratitude to American people, American leadership, President Trump's initiative for the peace. We've been working with the U.S. for the last 10 months, and we've been meeting and had a great progress. I'm thankful to President Trump's super team that is supporting us. We are discussing about the future of Ukraine, about the security of Ukraine, about no repetition of aggression of Ukraine, about prosperity of Ukraine, about how to rebuild Ukraine. And we're thankful for the efforts of United States and its team to helping us. U.S. is hearing us, U.S. is supporting us, U.S. is walking beside us. And we're thankful for all what has been done until today, and we're looking forward to have a successful, productive meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
John Jackson, who's dealt with, quote, a lot of bad, guilty people in my life, described it perfectly. He said Witoff looked like a guy who got exposed in front of the whole world. I mean, his head was down the entire time. He was fidgeting with his tie. Rubio couldn't even look the Ukrainians in the eye at first, knowing they caught the Americans betraying them. And Kushner? He was probably just calculating how to monetize the shame, right? This meeting wasn't about negotiating, it was about the Ukrainians seizing the high ground, forcing the alleged traitors to sit in the exact same spot where they tried to sell out a sovereign nation. It was brilliant. Now watch what happens after the meeting. This is where the spin starts, and the cracks in the Trump regime's camp start to show. In that meeting, Witoff tried to do damage control, saying the end goal is not just the end of the war, but securing an end that leaves Ukraine sovereign and independent, and with an opportunity at real prosperity. He even talked about helping Ukraine enter an era of extraordinary economic progress. But wait, hang on a second. If your goal was prosperity and sovereignty, why were you caught red-handed trying to launder a Russian surrender plan that would have left Ukraine broken and annexed? The defense doesn't fit the evidence, guys. Then you have Marco Rubio, who, by the way, has a clear wedge with Witoff. Witoff and Kushner reportedly ran the 28-point plan behind Rubio's back. Not that Rubio isn't complicit, but he was left scrambling to fix the wreckage. Listen to how Rubio changes his tune after this meeting. He suddenly talks about not just ending the fighting, but helping Ukraine be safe forever and enter an age of true prosperity. Listen to what he had to say afterwards.
This is delicate, it's complicated, there are a lot of moving parts, and obviously there's another party involved here that'll have to be a part of the equation, and that'll continue later this week when Mr. Witoff travels to Moscow, although we've also been in touch in varying degrees with the Russian side, but we have a pretty good understanding of their views as well. So much work remains, but today was again a very productive and useful session. We continue to be realistic about how difficult this is, but optimistic, particularly given the fact that as we've made progress, I think there is a shared vision here that this is not just about ending the war, which is very important. It is about securing Ukraine's future, a future that we hope will be more prosperous than it's ever been.
We are grateful to American people, American leadership, and a great team with State Secretary Steve Witoff, Jared Kushner for their tremendous work with us. Our objective is a prosperous, strong Ukraine. We were discussing about the future of Ukraine. We discussed all the important matters that are important for Ukraine, for Ukrainian people, and U.S. was super supportive. We already had a successful meeting in Geneva, and today we continued this success.
That is a 180-degree shift. The Ukrainian delegation, simply by showing up and confronting them with their moral authority, forced these American figures to adopt the language of Ukrainian victory and long-term security, rather than the language of a quick, transactional Russian surrender. That is a massive diplomatic win. Now let's talk strategy. This wasn't just a spontaneous trip to Miami. This was a multi-pronged, coordinated counterattack orchestrated by Zelenskyy. Prong 1, the symbolism. Sending the delegation to Miami was genius. You tried to betray us here. We will assert our moral and international authority here. They forced Witoff to man up and look them eye to eye. Prong 2, the intelligence. This is the secret weapon. John Jackson made a powerful point that isn't getting enough attention. Whichever intelligence service, Ukrainian or European, that got those wiretaps and recordings between Witoff and the Russian proxies, they have more. They have the full conversation. They have the emails. They have the messages. They have it all. Witoff is probably wondering right now, what else do they have on me? What else is coming out? The threat of further exposure is arguably more powerful than any sanction. Prong 3. The NATO coordination. Immediately after the meeting, Zelenskyy put out a message. I spoke with Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO. He's informing NATO of the confrontation and coordinating closely. This is Zelenskyy locking in the support of his strongest institutional allies, effectively boxing out the Trump regime's attempts to drive a wedge. The message is clear. You tried to work outside the alliance, we're going to work within it. The political groundswell against the Trump regime's foreign policy is now becoming undeniable, even within the Republican Party. We saw Republican leaders in the House and Senate, people like Congress members Mike Turner and Don Bacon, on the weekend shows, basically speaking out against Witoff and the pro-Russian policy. Listen to what Congressmember Don Bacon said. He called out the entire plan, saying Putin does not want a peace agreement with Ukraine that leaves Ukraine a sovereign country. He pointed out the lunacy of the entire exercise, saying the administration shouldn't be pursuing the pointless while they're discussing rare earth minerals and natural gas pipelines, of which Ukraine has no part. He was furious, demanding, "We need a little more Ronald Reagan here. This president also needs to see the evil intentions of Putin, but he needs to call it out." And Congressmember Mike Turner was even more blunt. He said, you can't be America first and pro-Russia. He reminded the audience that Russia is a self-declared adversary of the United States, constantly targeting the U.S. with advanced nuclear weapons and cyber attacks. This isn't just Democrats fighting Trump. This is a clear, moral schism within the Republican Party itself. They are recognizing that the Trump regime is selling out the national security interests of the United States to a sworn enemy, Putin. Before we conclude, I have to bring us back to the ground zero of this entire discussion, because the politics and the posturing often distract from the cold, brutal reality. We have no right to fall short. We have no right to retreat. As Zelenskyy himself posted after the meeting, if we lose our unity, we risk losing everything, ourselves, Ukraine, and our future. We must stand together. There is no other choice. So, let's wrap up this analysis of the checkmate in Miami. The biggest takeaway here is the dignity and strategic genius of the Ukrainian resistance. I'm really curious to know what you all think about this history. So, let me leave you with this single, crucial question to drop in the comments. After this public humiliation, will the exposure of the peace through business plan fundamentally break the political will of Trump's inner circle to continue advocating for Russian interests? Or will they simply find a more secretive way to continue the betrayal? Tell me your thoughts below. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Context channel. Like this video and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.